Do you guys like dead air? Because I love dead air. Give me just a second. Gotta pull up my doc. No, not doc 4. Like I pull up my document. God. All right. Welcome to Tuesday morning football fantasy. I'm alone in the studio. It's very eerie, but that's okay. I've got my imaginary friends to help me. Whether or not they're celebrities is up to your imagination. Shh, not now, Mila. So last week got a little cray-cray between the live audience and the surprise guest with the connection from hell. So unfortunately, it's going to be a lot tamer this time. It's just me. It's just good old Lou. I will not, and I repeat this, cannot stress this enough, will not be going in depth to everyone's team because fuck that noise. That took forever last week, and I know everyone likes to do it, but it is a shit ton of work for me, and I just cannot be doing that stuff on a weekly basis. I can, however, go over the biggest changes. And so, for example, Andrew just lost a really big piece, and Aaron Rodgers going down, so I will hit on that and talk about teams that way. But I'm not going to be going in depth. I will be doing that maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks. Just don't expect to have that every week because that is a chore and a half. So that's where that's going to be. I don't really have anything else to say for intro, so let's just get at it. If you take a quick little perusal over on the ESPN standings, it's a dogfight right now, guys. Parity is alive and well. No one has one win, so that's good. We don't have that problem anymore. Goodbye, boats. We only have one team with one loss. Somehow Andrew, the guy who's I think maybe scored the third or so least amount of points, has only lost one game. And then everyone else, is really close to 500. And even with Andrew being 5-1 right now, I mean, both of our league leaders and Brett and Andrew are one loss away from losing their spot. Now they're not necessarily losing their spot, but it would be tied with somebody. Mitch is right on Andrew's ass, and Doc and I are right on Brett's. So that's what the standings are. No good predictions to be made there. We got a long ways to go still. The bye weeks really started up this week or last weekend, so it's kind of put a wrench into everyone's lineups, and it's making things a little bit more interesting that way. So let's go ahead and review last week's games. So I'm going to start from the opposite of the way the scoreboard shows me, which means I'm going to start with Angie's game against Andrew. So Andrew ended up winning this one. Not quite a squeaker, but it was pretty close. And you guys must have listened to me last week when I said not to play up to everyone else's level, drag them down, and beat them with your terribleness. The big news on this one is that Aaron Rodgers got hurt very early in the game, and Aaron Rodgers is basically out for the fantasy football season. He's done. So even with 0 points out of his QB spot, Andrew was still able to put up 84 points. A lot of that is thanks to Larry Fitzgerald playing like it's 2008, and also because the Ravens defense scored 20 points on the Chicago Bears. So he had a strong game. Made a lot of good plays. Didn't leave a whole lot of points on the bench. I'm sure you can be like, oh, he left Alex Smith with 14 points on the bench, but I mean, you're always going to start Aaron Rodgers, and how are you supposed to know Aaron Rodgers is going to get dead? He's dead. It's true. On the flip side of things, Angie had a couple of players, good double digits. Tug really didn't play nearly as well as maybe you would think he would against Jacksonville, but then again, Jacksonville's not the terrible defense they used to be. But she also got quite a few duds. She only got 4 points out of Theo Riddick. She only got 4 points out of Keenan Allen. She got 8 points from Michael Thomas. So basically fitting in the theme for Miss I'm just trying my best. She just continues to play the wrong wide receivers. And I really don't know what she can do to fix that other than to, get a crystal ball or maybe trade some away so she doesn't have so many options. So that was that game. It was a good game. I'm sure gave Andrew quite a scare once Aaron Rodgers went down, but I mean, basically the Ravens defense, saved his ass. The Ravens defense has been playing well, but not that well. I mean, last week they only scored 14. They only score 14. I think he loses that game. If I'm doing my math right. Yeah. So it's got a little lucky, but that's kind of been Andrew's season. Asshole. Big thing to note, that is Angie's third straight loss. So she needs to turn it around if she wants to compete in the playoffs. So the next game up is the Spanish Inquisition, led by Mitchell Davis and the Dragonstone Bastards, coached by Mr. Corney. This was not a game. 100 points to 73 in the favor of the Inquisition. All I want to say about this is Nathan continues to stash Carlos Hyde on his bench, and Carlos Hyde continues to score points when he's on the bench. Big games for the Spanish Inquisition out of Deshaun Watson, who looks like the real deal, even though he's playing in Cleveland. And then Antonio Brown finally blew up for 21 points. So Mitch got his big wide receiver finally busting out. Where's mine? Julio Jones is still doing jack shit. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. It's pretty straightforward. Brett and Delaney went at it, and that was one hell of a game. Delaney came up on top, 105 to Brett's 101. Brett keeps rolling out Trevor Siemian as his quarterback. And maybe that's just because the last couple of times I've been paying attention, and it just happens that Trevor Siemian is starting quarterback. Russell Wilson was on a bye, so that won't be his everyday quarterback. He got 21 points from the Rams defense against Jacksonville, which was intense. But he only got 6 out of Marshawn Lynch. But he didn't really have anyone else to go to start. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 players on bye. On the flip side, Nathan Delaney, he had 27 points from Kirk Cousins, 26 points from Melvin Gordon, and 24 out of Mark Ingram. And really, the rest of his team kind of did jack shit, but whenever 3 guys score 20 plus, it's going to be a good week. So Nathan pulled it out there. All right, so moving on to another 100-plus point score game. Doc against Brandon went out thanks mostly to Le'Veon Bell scoring 24 points, and the 2 Detroit wide receivers, Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, going ham on New Orleans, and both scored 15. And then he got, it wasn't like great supporting cast from the rest of his team, but it was decent. Could have gotten more, left Adrian Peterson on the bench, but no one knew how AP was going to play in his first game with Arizona. On the flip side, which I keep saying, and I'm sorry that I keep saying on the flip side, Brandon, he got a big game out of Gronkowski, got a big game out of Jared Ken, the new Minnesota running back, decent game out of Michael Crabtree, and he got 21 points out of the Tennessee kicker Ryan Suckup. It wasn't enough against Doc, and I really feel like, Peaches should be kicking himself right now because, last week I told him that he needed to play his one guy in the tight end spot and then the other tight end in the flex spot, and it would have made that game a lot closer if he had. Unfortunately for Peaches, he only got 11 points out of Drew Brees, which I still don't understand how that happened. I don't understand how New Orleans could score 52 points and Drew Brees can only have 11 points. That is just not what you expect out of New Orleans. He only threw 2 touchdowns. When was the last time New Orleans scored at all without the help of Drew Brees in some fashion? Because they don't run the ball, and we all know that. Brandon's got the longest losing streak in the league right now. He started out hot, going 2-0, but now he's lost 4. And he's excuse me. He's tied at last in his division. I'm so sorry. He's tied last in his division, and so he's got a decent team. Just needs to start racking up some wins because 2-4 is not a good place to be right now. And finally, we go to a game that somebody must have told myself and Nick that we were playing golf and that the smallest number wins because I didn't break 70 and Nick didn't even break 40. I got the special mutastic sexual number 69. So I think that means I win for the entire week. So suck it, everybody. And then Nick was only able to put up 36 points. Now, he did. He did switch on his defense. Sorry, I was looking at something. He just didn't get any production anywhere. I mean, Eli Manning didn't break 10, which wasn't surprising seeing as he was facing Denver. But then Brandon Cooks, he only got 5 out of Gostkowski. He left 23 points on the bench. The Texas defense went ham against Cleveland, but they were on his bench, so it was no good. For me, I started Marcus Mariota over Ben Roethlisberger because Dak Prescott was on a bye, and that was worth 2 extra points. Leonard Fournette had 19, so it was a good day for my running back. Everyone else kind of, really honestly, they just did shit. I mean, Julio only had 7. Randall Cobb was affected by Aaron Rodgers, and I dropped his ass. Jared Cook only had the point. And Adam Vinatieri had a good day, though. He had 12. On my bench, I left 15 points in the Vikings defense. And then, of course, I picked up Derrick Henry last week, the Tennessee backup running back. He had 20, mostly thanks to a really long run at the end of the game against Indianapolis. Really hoping that DeMarco Murray or Derrick Henry will take over as the main running back after, seeing him explode like that. But we'll see. Maybe I just need to hope for an injury to DeMarco Murray, which would piss off Andrew to no end. But that's a 2 birds, 1 stone. So that'd be a good day. So those were the games from last week. I got nothing left to say about the games. We'll get to the awards here in a little bit. If I was professional, I'd have some sort of music or maybe some sort of segment where it'd be a little slide transition. But no, fuck that shit. We're going straight to the rankings. My phone has buzzed. It's not one of you. The rankings are mostly influenced by how many points you've scored so far, just like it has been usual. However, the IM record is definitely having an effect now. I think probably starting next week, I'm going to start ranking closer to record instead of points, but that's not how it is this week. So we'll start at the bottom. We'll start with last week's number 7 is Nick. He had a just really awful, terrible, bad week. So it's no surprise that he is sitting in last place. He's got tied for the worst record. He's got the least amount of points scored. So it's just, I mean, honestly, I think everyone would agree that Nick seems to be having, either he must be having the worst luck or he just straight up has the worst team this year. And you know what? I don't think he minds all that much. I mean, he might be a little pissed, but he won the championship last year, so can't get too uppity. Above him at number 9 was Nathan Picorni. Last week he was tied. We was on a 3-way tie for 10th. He didn't really do much to bump himself up a spot. Nick just fell down that hard. The same goes for my team, which is the number 8 team in the league. Again, I just scored enough and won a game, so that was enough to bump me over Picorni. And I played Nick, so I wouldn't be ranked underneath Nick, especially with his struggles. Delaney was the last guy in the 3-way tie for 10th, and he has solidified himself at number 7. He scored a heap of points, beat one of the best teams in our league last week, so he gets the number 7 spot. Tied for 5th is going to be Peaches and Snicks and the discount double checks of Andrew. He might have the best record in the league, but we all know that he got all of those wins, except for maybe this one. I mean, he scored a respectable amount this time around, but the wins before have all been pretty uninspiring, pretty small. As for Peaches, he's kind of got the opposite problem. He's lost a bunch of games, even though he scored 100 points or maybe even more. He's still lost the games. Each time he plays someone, they have their best week and he takes the loss. So he's scoring a lot. It's a good team. He's just running into bad luck, which is why he's kind of stuck in the middle. And he's been stuck in the middle. I think he's been number 5 every week since he started his losing streak in week 3. Number 4 is Angie's team. She's got the same problem Peaches has. She keeps losing, even though she's scoring a bunch. Like I said last week, she seems to finally have lost the good luck that she had when in years prior she'd always had the least amount of points scored against her. And this week and this time around, it's flipped on its head. Got nothing to say about that. I don't write very much of this. It's really weird to do by myself. I need co-hosts. I'm just kidding. Peaches couldn't make it, and I had to change my schedule, so that's why I'm going solo today. At number 3 is last week's number 4, Mitch Davis's Inquisition. Like I said before, this team is scary. It's very scary. He's just shot himself in the foot a whole bunch via his roster. I think maybe he's figured it out, or maybe his roster's just so good that now it doesn't matter who he sits, which is an even scarier thing. Number 2, moving up one spot, is Doc's team. Doc continues to win and move up in the rankings. He's only at 500 right now, but he really hasn't had a bad week yet. He's just had weeks where people just had decent weeks too, and he just couldn't edge out a win. So Doc's team is pretty solid. I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, though, just because Doc wants to play. Because it's Doc's team. Doc usually finds the way to fuck it up. Sorry, man, but you do. And standing strong in the number 1 spot, even though he lost, is Brett's Vatican City Violators. He just continues to put up points. I mean, even though he lost this week, he still scored 100 plus. So he's still a really good team. It's not an easy win each time. So the Davises can take off their headphones or stop listening real quick. Guys, we cannot let the Davis family be 1 and 2 in this league. That's just wrong. We cannot let a family be a dynasty or whatever you want to call it. We gotta get your shit. We gotta get our shit together. All right. Put it back on. Put it back. There, yeah, you got it, Brett. There you go. Oh, don't trip yourself. Yes, there you go. Okay. So after the standings, that means it's everyone's favorite time. It's award time. So let's start with our cursed award. Cursed by the gods is Nick. He only scored 39 points. I've literally never seen a score that low in fantasy football without having like 6 guys or 4 guys on your squad, not like on buys. Like I've never seen a full lineup score that small amount of points. The reason he's cursed is because his opponent, me, I only scored 69 points, which is obviously an extremely low score in fantasy football. So I've had weeks where I've been really good. I've had weeks when I'm really bad. He got me on the week I was awful, but the gods said no, and not just no, but we're going to embarrass you and only give you 39 points. So that's who's cursed this week. The luckiest asshole is going to go to Nathan Delaney. He only beat Brett by 6 points, and he had 3 different players. Like I said earlier, Kirk Cousins, Mark Ingram, and Melvin Gordon scored 24-plus points. Kirk Cousins against San Francisco, it's not that big. It's not that surprised that he scored 24 points. Melvin Gordon's been pretty good. He could score 24 points. But Mark Ingram, who's been hit and miss, boom or bust for so freaking long, scores 24? That's crazy. That's luck. And it was enough to beat one of the best teams in the league. So that's the luckiest asshole. Enjoy, Nate. The smartest play was really, really, really hard to find, as it is every week. I'm really starting to hate this award. With a bunch of bye weeks, restricting people's lineups, and also a lot of stupid moves by by nearly every single team. It was hard to find a smart play. So I'm going to give it to Brett and his losing effort for playing the Rams defense against the Jaguars offense. Yes, the Jags offense isn't like the most amazing thing in the world, but the motherfucker got 21 points from his defense. So I am looking to replace this award. Please, please, please send messages on the Facebook chat of suggestions of awards. I can add awards or just straight up just kill this one and replace it with something because I'm sick of trying to find it. It's really annoying. It's really subjective, even more so than the other ones that I pick. I just don't like doing it. Dog just like bitch slapped my computer. So our final most favorite award, the Derp Award, is going to be awarded to Angie this week. Mostly by default because she was the only player who had a chance at winning if she would have changed just one player on her team. And so the same problem she's been having all year with the whole not being able to choose the correct wide receiver. Bit her in the ass this week. She had two guys on her bench. If she would have played them instead of one of her other wide receivers, she would have won. Honorable mention, though, goes to Peaches. Like I said before, he didn't listen to my tight end advice about playing both his tight ends. If he would have done that, he would have only lost by 1 point. And he even had the option to put Jeffrey in the actual wide receiver spot and bench punches, and then put the two tight ends in, and he would have won the game. The reason he didn't win the award is because that is really fucking complicated. So let this be a lesson to you guys. When I give you advice, you should listen. All right. That is that's the show, guys. So peace out. I'll see you next week with a co-host, maybe two. Hopefully, Brandon will be able to join me again for sure. I might even contact some of you to pretend to do some stupid interviews. So, later.